Isolated anthrax spores. Bacillus anthracis is the causative agent of anthrax, a serious and often fatal disease of wild and domestic animals. It produces endospores. Lymph node Anthrax spores, macrophage, germinating bacteria. The endospores go to the blood. They transport in the blood and then go to the macrophage. The edema factor, the protective actin leader factor. The anthrax binds with the receptor. When endospores are inhaled, ingested, or come into contact with a skin lesion on a host, they may become reactivated and multiply rapidly.
A Utah company has developed a way to kill deadly anthrax spores in record time without damaging humans, animals, or the environment.
Ed Yates is here to tell us why the EPA has given the full green light for this new anti-terrorism product. Ed.
Well, Bruce, in recent years, anthrax threats, real or not, have targeted all 50 governor's offices, 100 U.S. embassies, 52 banks, 32 news organizations, Disneyland, Mormon temples, town halls, a sheriff's office, a daycare center, private homes, and even a funeral parlor. More than 1,000 white powder events, as they're called, have plagued the FBI over the past 3 years. That's why this new product could be a welcomed weapon. Developed by Utah-based S Biomed, the sterilant killed anthrax spores in a lab in less than 30 seconds. In real-world fogging tests of large interior areas by Zymex systems, the stuff was equally impressive.
Can totally destroy spores, fully sterilize in a 30-minute contact time, which is really record-breaking out there in the industry.
As portrayed in this demonstration, the Utah company tested its newly developed Steraplex in biosafety level 3 labs. Anthrax spores can remain coated and dormant for thousands of years, waiting for the right conditions naturally or via villainous hands of a would-be terrorist. Homeland Security has been looking for a sterilant that can kill rapidly, while the EPA has been waiting for compounds that won't harm humans, animals, or plants, or destroy the interior of a building. Corrosive material used to decontaminate Washington's Brentwood post office 9 years ago damaged almost everything inside.
Our teams and crews could go into a building and decontaminate an entire facility in an extremely short time without expecting the facility to remain offline for several years' time, as happened in the past.
In fact, a building could be reoccupied an hour later. S-Biomed ran 500 tests on various recipes before it found the perfect mix.
Initially, the first product was constructed with ingredients from a grocery store.
After hundreds of experiments and refinements in chemistry, positive results and a rapid kill.
It was kind of a surprise, but we knew where we were headed. We just didn't know how long it would take to get there.
Many of the symptoms that the isolated anthrax spores produce are pulmonary respiratory infection in humans, initially present with cold, flu-like symptoms for several days, followed by terminal and severe and often fatal respiratory collapse.
During harsh conditions, the large rod-shaped bacteria that cause anthrax develop into spores that can be released into the air and inhaled. Inhaled spores are swept into the trachea, which divides into the bronchus. Because of their small size, the spores are carried into smaller and smaller bronchioles, eventually reaching the tiny alveolar sac's onset of more serious symptoms. During this time, sores develop in the lung tissue, where the bacteria first entered the body, and fluid builds up within the chest cavity. This produces bleeding and swelling that restricts breathing. The toxins also reach the brain and spinal cord, causing bleeding within the thin layer of tissue that encases these structures. The results are severe respiratory problems, hemorrhaging, shock, and often death. However, these dire results can possibly be avoided by taking the anthrax vaccine prior to exposure